Good morning, all, on a super wintry and snowy morning here in Western New York. It's always around this time of February that even I, who am an admitted lover of winter, start to think about the spring. I'm not weary of winter this year. Sometimes I am, it depends. This year has been a very mild winter, so I wouldn't say that I'm sick of it by any stretch. But I don't know, there's something about this mid February part of the year. Valentine's Day. My birthday's coming up. I'm going to talk about that shortly. And so, right around this part of February, Valentine's Day birthday part, I start to think about spring and about beautiful spring colors and flowers and other events that traditionally happen in the spring and summer that I'm looking forward to. And I start to get excitedly anticipatory of those things. And I think I've mentioned in the past that my little side business is that I am a consultant for Scentsy, a fragrance company. Their big thing is fragranced wax, sort of like a wickless alternative to candles. But they also have other scented products like cleaning products, laundry products, skin products. And I am really excited about the spring summer catalog, which comes out March 1st. And so that is sort of also re energizing my spring fever in that regard. I'm thinking about all of the new scents that I know are coming, and it's making me feel re energized and invigorated, I guess, for the spring. So I'm really happy about that. That's sort of my feeling that's in the air right now. But our topic for today is going to be, I suppose, building upon what I just mentioned, this late winter re-inspiration period that I'm going through right now, preparation for Lent. And I promised that I would update about team yoga that I mentioned last week, and also my birthday, because that's Saturday. So, all right, I don't even know where to begin. I guess, it's kind of a shock to me that I'm coming up on 2 years of doing these tea time with Tiffany video posts. They started as video only, and then I added the audio in. I don't remember how many months later, maybe about 4-ish months later, 3 or 4 months. And it's hard to believe that it's been that long. But there is still more time. It's not the anniversary yet, so I will take that for what it is. I think it's in May that the anniversary is, so maybe we'll have a big celebration and a giveaway or something. We'll see closer to the time, but I'm coming up. I think this is episode 84, so we're going to be nearing the 100th episode, I suppose, somewhat close in time to that, so it'll be all exciting. So it's hard to believe, that this much time has gone by in this project, and it's just one of those evaluative times of the year, I guess. Late winter, thinking of spring, and you're just doing an assessment of what's working in your life and what you'd like to change, feeling inspired for new projects. I would say that Tea Time with Tiffany has been a good constant in my life. It has evolved a little bit in format, like I just mentioned with the audio change, but on the whole, it has been a conversation between you and I every week for the most part, and I think it's really working. It's transitioned to a slightly longer format once I moved to the audio, so that those who didn't want to sit and watch a video for 20 minutes, which is usually how long these are, have the option of just listening in on their commute or what have you. And so therefore I felt like I could be as chatty as I'd like, and I didn't have to feel guilty, so that's lovely. I think it's working. I really don't plan on changing anything in the near future unless you think I should, so you can let me know if that's the case. So, just sort of plugging along. And like I mentioned, things are going a little bit better. I had talked about that last week. And I continue to feel that same way. I mean, by Thursdays, I do admittedly feel a little weary of whatever lesson we're working on for that week, because I'm just sick of it. We've been doing the exact same one since Monday. And I've taught now 6 of that same class, and I've got 7 and 8 today. And, it's just, it doesn't feel very inspiring to teach the same thing yet again. That being said, I have been really hard at work being more positive about things. And so I've been looking at the positives, and the positives are that we're team teaching this semester. I love teaching with all of my colleagues. I teach with every single one, and it does make the classes somewhat different between working with different people. And this our classes are a lot more interactive this semester with the way that we have set it up, and that does make them slightly different from each other too, because the students have a role in how the class goes, and so that does give them a different feel as well, because they're doing a group activity. So I'm happy with that. That's helping. It's still not a perfect situation. I think we all feel this way, that this is not a sustainable long-term model for us to be teaching this many of the same class, and it just consumes all of our time such that we can't teach anything else. We can't teach in any of the freshman seminars here or any of the upper level English courses because there's no time. And we would all like to see that change, because our role officially is as curriculum librarians for the entire new curriculum here at this university, not just for this one specific English course. And so we do need to spread ourselves more broadly, but right now there's not enough of us to be able to do that with the model that we have set forth with this one English class. And so it seems like that's going to be changing over time somewhat, certainly in the fall, probably even more so next spring. And so hope springs eternal. I feel good about where we're going, and so I've been able to keep my spirits up, and that's a good thing. I feel better about my role as a teaching librarian, certainly, than I did last fall. And also, like we talked about, we've been reading Live Today Well, and that has been helping tremendously with my outlook. And I'm looking forward to employing some of those strategies in Lent. So let's talk about that. We had talked last week about preparing for Lent, and maybe in the comments to some of the book club posts, I think I mentioned it on Tea Time, I had said to a few of you, why don't we think of, because we were talking about specific strategies in the book, and so I said, why don't we think about each of us taking a couple of these and putting it really into action during Lent, just keeping a real simple focus during Lent. And in fact, my piece for Catholic Mom from March is about my Lenten theme of simplicity, my Lenten plan. So that's been on my mind a little bit, and I'm excited about that. And I went to a meeting this week of the worship committee at my parish, and we were talking about Lent, and so it's really got me excited and thinking about that. So I think what I'm going to try to do is just incorporate in some small things, like a morning offering. That comes from Live Today Well from St. Francis de Sales, even just a very short prayer, something you're very familiar with, but just that you're committed to doing that every single morning as the first thought of your day. And I'm not real consistent about that, so being consistent about that. And some of the other things that we talked about yesterday in chapter 4 about mentally preparing for your day, foreseeing some challenges that can arise and how you're going to deal with it, so that when those things happen, you're able to keep your interior serenity. Those types of things. So there's that. I also want to try to get to my parish once a week, which I think is manageable, in addition to Sunday Mass, to a daily Mass. And my parish, about a year or so ago, added in a Thursday evening Mass. I went to that for the Feast of St. Blaise. Anne and I did, for the Blessing of the Throats. And so for Lent, I'm going to try to go every week. We'll see. I really think that that's a manageable goal. It's at 5:30. Mike is teaching until then anyway on Thursdays, and so I think that it would be workable for us to have a crockpot meal planned for Thursdays, and I could just jot to that 5:30 Mass. They're always really short, the daily Masses, so I would be home by a little after 6, and we could eat then. So we'll see. But I'm very excited by that prospect, because I love daily Mass, but with my schedule the way it is, it's not possible for me to go right now. There isn't a Mass that I can go to in the morning and still get to work on time. And there used to be a daily Mass I could go to here at work at noon, and most of the time I wouldn't be able to make the noon time slot this semester anyway. But even more so, they moved the Newman, what do they call that? The Newman Society, is that the right word for it? The campus Catholic Student Association. They used to be in the main, what they call the spine here of buildings that I work at on this campus, so I could just walk there. But now they've moved off the spine, and you can't walk. It's not close enough to walk. This is a big, big campus, and I would have to drive, and I've mentioned before that the parking situation here is an absolute nightmare. And so if you leave your parking spot to drive over, I mean, it would take over my lunch allotment, because by the time I drove over there and then came back and found a parking spot again and then walked from that parking spot back into the library, it's not a feasible thing. They have a very nice new location, the Newman Center. Is it Newman Center? I don't remember. But yeah, they have a beautiful new space. But because it's now not connected with these main little cluster of buildings, one of which is two of which are the libraries that I work at, it's just not available to me anymore, which is a bummer. So the evening option, I think, is really nice. And I know that Father did that in an attempt to attract people to come to daily Mass that are in a different state of life than what their daily Mass usually attracts. I've been to the daily Mass at my parish sometimes in the summer, which I want to say is at 8 o'clock. And, it attracts a crowd of people who are retired. And so he wanted an evening Mass so that he could perhaps attract people who are still working, maybe, parents with small children. It would be, in the mornings just too difficult with, trying to wrangle everybody to get to Mass. So the evening might be a better slot. So I'm going to try. And let's see how it goes. So Lent, that's tentatively. I'm also thinking about, hold on, my little St. Joseph guide for the Liturgy of the Hours. I have the print books. I also have the app. But I picked up the print guide so that I could use my books again. I'm just feeling drawn back to the books. The last time I tried to use the Liturgy of the Hours, I'm trying to keep a mental list of all of these things to put in the show notes, and I'm not writing them down, guys. So I don't know if I'm going to remember, but I'll try. This will be one of them. I used the app the last time that I tried to do Liturgy of the Hours again, and I had kind of mixed results. So I'm going to go back to my beautiful old-fashioned books and just have to use my glasses to read them. I just have to accept that. And this St. Joseph guide is really crucial to being able to find your place each day. So I ordered this, and this is the, keeping it real, this is the large print edition. So it is easier for me to read. At the time, to be trying to make myself feel younger, they were out of stock of the regular print, and so I ordered the large print. But I'm just going to be honest, this is a lot easier for me to read. So I'm going to try to do morning and or evening prayer whenever I can. It's one of those things I know I'm not going to get to it every day, but certainly on Ash Wednesday, Holy Week, and as often as I am able during the rest of Lent, I will try to do those things. But I think importantly, based upon Live Today Well, I need to get in an official morning prayer to start my day. And I'm just going to take it from there. So that's just a very light Lenten plan that I have there. What is yours? I would love to hear about it. We can bounce ideas off of each other. So I've been excited thinking about Lent, thinking about spring scentsy stuff. And so I mentioned yoga last week. Oh, right, and my birthday. Oh, see, I didn't forget everything. This is very encouraging. So yoga. Last Thursday, it actually went really, really, really well. I liked it very much. I've taken more classes now that incorporate yoga, so that has increased my familiarity with some of the terminology and poses, and that has made me feel more comfortable. It was just me and 3 of my colleagues, so it was a nice, a lovely setting with people that I genuinely like, and I like the way that the teacher structured the class. He started out and ended, definitely on like relaxing notes, but in the middle she did what is called a flow sequence, and I remember those from my PIO class that I loved, where you're moving a little bit more quickly between poses, and it actually does really get your heart rate up. And so I felt like it was a nice combination of more high, I wouldn't say high intensity, but getting your heart rate up, so more of a cardio experience, and as well as incorporating in the relaxation and mind-body soothing connection that yoga can bring. I thought it was a really nice class. It was 45 minutes, great time slot, and I loved it. We're not doing it today, unfortunately, because we're having a little birthday party for one of my other colleagues whose birthday is today. So I'm looking forward to it though next week. So I think it went really well. And I think that it's so important if you're going through something that you know is going to pose some challenges, some changes for you. And if you have a hard time dealing with change the way that I do, I think that it's really important to sometimes try new things that have the potential to re-inspire you, brighten your day, cheer you up, bring you some comfort and joy. And I'm really glad that I gave it a chance, and I'm looking forward to continuing throughout the semester. So that's morning yoga. So birthdays. My birthday is Saturday, February 18th. And I don't look forward to my birthday in the same way that I used to. I wrote about that actually this month at Catholic Mom, so I'll try to remember to put that in the show notes. Um, it's not it's not as fun when you don't look forward like when you were a lot younger. I mean, we're talking a lot younger. You would look forward to the change in your number. I don't look forward to that anymore, but I have come to as good of a terms with that as I can. I love my life and the things in it and the people in it. And so therefore, I am choosing to see my birthday as a celebration of all of that. And, getting older has its advantages and disadvantages. I think people tend to focus on the disadvantages. And so, when I had a milestone birthday a couple years ago, I took that a little hard. And I was thinking of the disadvantages. Like, you don't want to look older and you don't want to feel older and all of these other things that we tend to stress out about a little bit. However, I have chosen to focus on the positives, the advantages, and those are really quite plentiful, especially for me teaching college students. I see them and I see some of the things that they do. And I think to myself, I am so relieved that I don't have to go through that anymore, that I can just see them trying to impress each other a lot. Not that older people don't do that too. And by older people, I simply mean 30 and above, so not really older. But you tend to have more confidence and wisdom as you age, which is not to say that we are ever wise, but you've gained some life experience and you've learned some important lessons by making many, many mistakes. And I can look, now at that age group and think, certainly not all, because I was more of an old soul, and so I know sometimes people are old soul and they don't necessarily make all of the same mistakes as I'm just about to describe in these interactions I'm observing in my classrooms. But I just I see some of the students doing things that I'm thinking they're feeling insecure, and they're trying to impress their friends and neighbors, and that can cause you to make bad choices. It can also cause you to act in a manner that is not actually very flattering, even though that person may not realize it. And I think to myself, I am glad to be past that part of my life. So that's, I guess, one good thing about getting a little older. So gotta try to focus on the positives. So that's sort of where I'm at. But I'm looking forward to a lovely weekend. I've got a dance performance tomorrow night with my troupe, and we're dancing at a Zumbathon, so that should be a fun crowd. And Saturday is my birthday itself. I'm going out to dinner with Mike, and I'm going to go out to dinner with my parents and the kids and Mike probably next weekend. So it's going to be a whole birthday couple of weeks. So that'll be fun. And I have a dance class on Sunday. So it'll be a lovely weekend. And, back at it next week. But it'll be a nice little interlude, I suppose, in this sea of snow and teaching. But next week will already be week 4 in our semester, and spring break is week 8. So we're getting there. It's really going pretty quickly on the whole. It has not dragged and been torturous the way that it was in the fall. Sometimes it is a little wearisome, but in comparison, a gigantic difference. So that's where we're at. How are you doing? How are your Lenten plans shaping up? Anything new and exciting with you? How do you feel that the book club is going? I would like to definitely do this again after we finish this book. I mean, this book is going to take us through Lent, actually into the first couple of weeks of Easter, so this is some time away, but I like this chapter by chapter format, and so I would definitely do this again. And so let me know what you all think of that. I hope you have a fantastic weekend, and I look forward to talking to you next week. Bye.